Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and I'm joined this evening by Grant Croxford. So this is a first show that we've done, a live QA show, where we haven't really got an agenda at all. Well, there isn't, there's plenty to talk about, but the idea of this is that you guys give us talking points, to be quite honest. Now, you can also phone in, so we'll put the number up shortly, so you can phone up and talk to us and give us your point of view on something that way. But what I will say, because I can only assume what we're going to be talking about tonight, because it's the main talking point, it will come up. What we've been noticing in the chat is if it does go the Moyes route, if it's Moyes in and Moyes out, everyone's got the same. Everyone's got their own opinion. Try not to sort of shoot each other down too much in the chat, is what I'm saying. Try and be a little bit tolerant, because it just spirals. And the same with my guest Grant that I brought into today. Now I've kind of with Grant's been on this show a lot, but this is a two-man show, and the reason that I've invited Grant on this one particularly is because Grant has got a different opinion to me, and we don't like echo chambers. I don't. You don't want to. You don't want to tune into a show and just have one perspective. You want to have a balance to it as well. So hopefully, I'll be able to give one side of the coin, and Grant can give the other. There you go. Without me having to sort of lie and play devil's advocate and stuff like that, which I'm not very good at doing. So anyway, on with the show. Grant, thanks for joining me, mate.
No, thank you for having me on, mate. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And how are you? You good? You all good?
Yeah, doing well, doing well. It's funny when we have the weekends with the footballs, when we're not got the football on, when kind of the whole wait until Monday thing, it's a bit weird. It's kind of...
It's a bad weekend to not be playing until Monday as well, isn't it? It really is, because today's result didn't go particularly well. Friday night's results went all right for us, didn't they? That weren't too bad, but it was. But today, obviously, Everton have won 2-0, so they've shifted above us. I suppose you could look at it another way. Palace lost, so if we win, we go above them.
Yeah,
depends if you're looking up or you're looking down.
I think it shows the inconsistency, doesn't it? Because obviously Palace got a result, beat Wolves, and looked good, and then they go up to Goodison and get smacked. So I think that the scoreline kind of flattered them as well. From what I'd heard of it, it seemed like Everton absolutely controlled the game and looked really good. So
yeah, they did, and it's it just seems like what you've got is all of the teams that are outside that sort of top. I'm not ignore Liverpool. Liverpool just having a fucking a bum season. For me, I think what's happened to Liverpool is they came so close last year, and I think this just been a massive anticlimax. They've lost Mane, and I think that they're just having one of them seasons, and I think it will continue through.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
a lot of injuries as well.
A lot of injuries.
They're like us.
Yeah, and as Nottingham Forest showed, today's Craven's put in the chat as well. You can have a go at these teams. You can have a go at these teams, because you never know what's going to happen. They've got weaknesses. They've not been playing well. So you don't have to pander to these big boys. They're not a big boy this year. They are, but this season they're not. They're in with us, aren't they? They're in with us. I think everyone outside that sort of that top six at the moment, the Premier League money, you can see has levelled the playing field quite a lot, and you can see that now by how close it is from, I don't know, 7th downwards. There's not much of a points gap there. Everyone seems to be beating everyone to a degree. Everyone's nicking points off of everyone. So so you can see that. But we are only 11 games into the season. It won't stay that tight for long. Generally, by the time you get sort of midway through a season, if you're looking 17, 18 games, that's generally when the Premier League starts to take form. So if you're struggling at that point, you're struggling.
I think this is going to be weird as well because of the World Cup.
Yeah.
You think, right, if you haven't got too many international players, you should be out. You should be good to go in January. But we have no idea. This could be a very strange season. Somebody could come out in January, streak ahead, and then the big boys kind of kick back in and chase them down, or could be another Leicester season. You never know. Somebody without a lot of internationals could really go on a big run, and you can see a lot of the top teams with a lot of internationals looking really tired and ragged. So
I don't know. What's because you're one of the more pragmatic supporters, more patient supporters, I call them. You got. I'm probably more on the completely impatient supporter side. I mean, like I say, it was for me. I don't know if you saw my video, but it was after the Everton game. After the Everton game, that was it for me. I kind of my mind. I was already going that way, but that made my mind up completely at that point. I've not changed my mind, even after the kind of results that we've had since. I've not seen enough. I've not seen enough change in the way that we play. I've not seen enough attacking intent, and for me. We've been having a bit of a to and fro on WhatsApp today as well, because the argument is, it's all right for Nottingham Forest to go to play against Liverpool and put 10 men behind the ball, which is what some people were saying that they did. I know they only had 24% possession, but they had 10 shots on goal to Liverpool's 15, and they both had 7 shots on target each. Now, irrespective of possession, they clearly played a very effective counter-attacking game. That must be what happened there. I watched bits and pieces of the game. I didn't watch it all. But the fact of the matter is, would I expect a team bottom of the league, like Nottingham Forest, who I think we can all collectively agree are shit, to play against Liverpool and park the bus? Yeah, I can. I could expect a shit team to do that. The trouble is, I don't think West Ham are a shit team. So I don't.
Right.
I don't expect. I'm not accepting it from. I'm not accepting it from West Ham, because that's how Nottingham Forest have targeted them. They're not Man City this season. They have weaknesses.
No.
They have weaknesses. Trent has been exposed blatantly this year. He really, really has. So it was kind of for me. I was happy with the formation that we put out and the shape. There was one piece of the puzzle that was completely wrong, and that sets a tone between being overly defensive and having no attack, and that was just Ben Rama for Fornells on the left, because then you'd have had someone to get at Trent.
Yeah.
It was just that, and it was just that little tweak, and then So for me, I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. I know not many teams go to Liverpool and get much, but that's not an excuse to not really try. I know we did in the end. I've got my theories on this. I said it earlier on. And that is that we went 2 up top because I think that Klopp insulted David Moyes. Personally, I think David.
56 minutes, he took 3 big names off. He took 3 bench warmers on. He
took the piss. We said it when we was watching the game. He took the piss, and I literally think Moyes had no other option but to fucking try and right that wrong, because that was a piss take. I've never seen Klopp looking so relaxed on a touchline either.
Yeah. Yeah, he thought it was game over, didn't he?
Absolutely. We weren't pushing him. Yes, it was It's difficult, because when I was watching the game in the first half with John and with Gary, I was kind of happy because we didn't seem to be camped in our own box, but there was no creativity there, was there, Grant?
No. Because we couldn't hold on to the ball.
No,
we can't. We panic under pressure, and we can't. We don't know what to do with the ball, and that kind of sets us up to fail. That's that is a problem.
Richard Dodds, evening boys. Nick controlled and Moyes out. I've got Grant here to do that tonight. That's Grant's job. He's on the other side of the coin. So, hello Neil, you all right? So look, to kick us off, people. What do you want us to talk about first? Do you want us to tackle Bournemouth and how big a game that is? Or do you want to talk about David Moyes and kind of discuss See, this is the thing. I don't want to keep repeating myself over it all the time, and that's the issue. When you lay your cards on the table, like I did after Everton, I don't want to keep on saying the same thing over and over. And my stance hasn't changed. But in terms of, I suppose what I could do is we could look at ways that David Moyes could swing it around, could change it around for people like me. For you, Grant, how big is the game on Monday against Bournemouth?
So it's a home game. Yeah, against the lesser side. So it's 3 points we need to win. There's no, I think I expect us to win. It's like Fulham. I expected us to beat Fulham. I thought we started really well up against Fulham for a couple of minutes, and all of a sudden they scored, and then we kind of fall to pieces when we do concede. But I think Bournemouth are a well-organised side. I think Gary O'Neill's makes tactical switches. That concerns me a little bit, because sometimes Moyes can be a little bit slow on that. But no, I expect us to win. I think I would hope that we can put out our strongest side and look to then for Thursday to rotate, and then get those guys the first team that play Monday. Hopefully, everyone comes through that and it's good to go Sunday up at Old Trafford and try and get a
Yeah.
point up there. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, what was the final result with Chelsea Man United? Is that still going on at the moment?
1-0.
It's 1-1.
It's 1-0.
1-1.
Yeah,
I mean,
late penalty for Chelsea and then a late equaliser.
My concern with that game,
right.
I don't know whether you caught, because look, if there is a top team that play a little bit like West Ham, I think it's Spurs.
Right.
Spurs, they sit and they counter. You know, that's generally what Conte does. Yeah, but the trouble is with Spurs, because of the players they've got in the final third, they only need 2 or 3 chances in the game. They'll get a goal. But against Man United, fucking hell, Man United looked like prime Barcelona. Did you see that game?
Yeah. I mean, they seemed to just get up for it, didn't they?
They did, yeah. But I just don't know
Conte
whether
was very negative and tried to play for a point, didn't he? And got caught out.
But this is the thing. So what do we do in that game? There's a lot of people that defend Moyes' tactics. Conte has just proved that when you go to Old Trafford and you curl up in the ball like that, you could get hurt. So based on what we witnessed against Man United, this is skipping ahead to Man United now, I know. But what would you expect from him in that game? Would you expect him to take the same approach?
I think he'll set up the same way he set up against Liverpool. He'll go up there and try and get a point.
Is that acceptable though, Grant?
Well, you need 40 to stay up, and we're about 29 short of that, aren't we? So, I mean, what can you do? If we, end of the day, right? We go up there, and he goes for it, and tries and goes cavalier and attacking and opens it up. If he goes up there and he starts an attacking side, everyone will be, oh, this is brilliant. This is what we've been calling for. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And then if we get slapped 2-3-0, then all of you guys will be on there saying he's absolutely useless and he's got
Grant. I'm telling you now, right? Listen. I'm telling you now, I'm beyond the result. If I was all about the result, just grinding out 1-0s, then fine. I'm telling you now, I would much rather. Do you know something? I'd rather us play well and lose 3-0 as opposed to sort of play shit and lose 1-0. Why not go for it? Literally.
It's easier to get.
What's the difference between losing 3? I mean, unless you're talking about relegation difference and going down on relegation point, going down on sort of goal difference. What's the fucking difference? Go out there, enjoy yourself. Just kind of tell the players, give some of our creative players the freedom to go out there and do it. Back them. He must prepare them in such a way to say to them, "You're not good enough to go toe to toe with this team. You're not." You're not good enough. So what we're going to do, we're going to try and stop them from playing in the first 45 minutes. And then what we're going to try and do, we're going to try and nick a goal later on. That must be how he tries to prepare that team, because I don't know what other message it can be for that.
I think the trouble is, it's not Moyes' fault that the players can't control the ball. It's not Moyes' fault that they don't pass well. It's not Moyes' fault that Johnson's out of position for their goal. It's not Moyes' fault that Bowen weren't closing Thiago down. It wasn't Moyes' fault that the players were giving Thiago too much time and letting Carvalho move inside and cut us to pieces. There's a level of blame that has to go to Moyes. He is what he is. We know what he is, because he was the same 20 years ago when he was at Everton. It's not it's not any different. He's better than he was at Sunderland. He's better than he was when he was in Spain. I can't even remember which side he was at in Spain, but United
Real Sociedad.
Didn't do great, but
Real Sociedad.
There you go.
Yeah.
But we got to a semi-final of a European.
Oh mate, you can't live on that forever.
Yeah, you can.
But what I'm saying is, Grant,
you can. Right, because the last time we did it, I wasn't born.
I know, but Grant, listen.
Right, I keep taking my lad to.
Would you accept David Moyes continue playing this way, and you'll stick with him because he got us to a European semi-final, and then he gets us relegated, and that sets us back 10 years, 15 years?
No, of course I would.
So what I'm saying is, how far?
But I don't think.
But mate, we've averaged 1 point a game since December. Mm-hmm. That's relegation form.
Yeah.
So for that to change, it will take a massive uptick. Now, what I'm saying is, just to kind of just to kind of sort of give a counter to what you said earlier on, where people say it's not Moyes' fault. Moyes doesn't shoot a goal. Moyes doesn't tell them how to control the ball. Moyes doesn't tell them how to pass. What I'm trying to say to you is, Grant, with the way that David Moyes sets his teams up and the way that he plays football, how do you think they are coached? If you look at a Pep Guardiola team, if you look at a Brighton team, are they coached to play a passing offensive game? So on the training pitch, David Moyes' West Ham, are they coached about their defensive shape and being this, that, the other? So they're being coached in different ways. Therefore, the technical side of the game isn't being focused on as much. I can imagine sort of Pep at Man City, for instance. They probably don't focus too much on defending. But I think with West Ham, it's a bit different. If you look at someone like Fornals almost at times looks like he's regressed as a footballer in his time under David Moyes. He's just a workhorse. The technical side of his game seems to have almost vanished. He doesn't seem to. You see flashes of it every now and then, but he's become ordinary. It does come down to coaching. It comes down to what's being drilled into them Monday to Friday when they're on that training pitch. Grant, in my opinion,
I think Moyes. Okay, but then Fornals plays because he understands the system and he plays the system.
I know.
Because he understands the system. Listen, it almost feels we've got to the point where if you're Moyes in,
yeah,
you get accused of thinking that he's brilliant and can't do anything wrong.
Oh, no, I know.
But it's not, because there are plenty of things that I don't like about him that he does. But at the same time, we've just gone and finished 6th and 7th.
Yeah, what you're
we've got European football, and so I don't know,
Yeah,
I keep taking my lad to the European games, even though he's got school the next day.
Yeah,
we don't get home till gone midnight. But I keep taking him because my experience says I don't know after this season we might not see it for another 20 years. So I keep taking him because I'm like, we've just got to keep going, because I never know how long. The West Ham I fell in love with were awful. We're a yo-yo side, and they were entertaining. Don't get me wrong, everyone loves the entertaining.
Yeah,
they were a scrappy underdog side. They gave it a go. They had something about them. They had a bit of steel about them. But
yeah. Sorry, 1 minute. This is John Osborne, too busy to come on the show, but got enough time to watch it and tell me I'm talking rubbish.
I wonder why he's in the chat.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Much.
Yeah, I know.
He's texting under the table. He's out for dinner.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I don't know. Chris Harris is referring to. I was getting involved in a little bit of banter on Stell's. You was watching that last night, weren't you?
Stell's. I watched a little bit last night, and then I watched the rest this morning.
I was a bit lively in the chat, and I was having a bit of banter with someone called, I can't remember the name of his tag now. I was calling him Little Bird and Tiny Bird. It was something like Birds and Moles. His tag, but he don't like me. He don't like me, Grant. I said, are you part of some weird cult? He said, you're a weird cult. But yeah, so anyway, look, the number's up. If anybody does want to phone in and have a little chat, let me know. So I think you're right to play devil's advocate. I think you're exactly right. I think at the moment we're so divided, and I think this is something that every fan, whether you're Moyes in or Moyes out, you have to agree with. The fan base is divided. David Moyes at the moment, we have to all admit that he's a divisive manager. It's not his fault, but his style of football and the way that it's played out, it's just divisive. Probably the most divisive. Again, not making comparisons with the man, but probably since Sam Allardyce, in the way and how strong people feel about the manager. Some people are either for him or they're against him. And you're right. There's no, if you're Moyes in, the Moyes outers think you're a fucking idiot, and if you're Moyes out, the Moyes ins think you should go and support Tottenham. You should go and support. You're a plastic fan, But this is my argument, and that's all nonsense. That is all nonsense, right? We all love West Ham, we do. Some people are more patient than others. They are. Some people like different styles of football as well. Like John is a defender. John's happy sitting deep and just shithousing a 1-0 win. That's beautiful to him. When he says, Nick, genuinely, would you be happy losing 3-0, but we played exceptional? I would be far more happy if we'd have gone for the game. Yes, I would. John wouldn't. That's fine. We look for different things in the game, right? We do. I associate West Ham with going for it. You know, that's what breaks my heart. It ain't losing so much. It's not losing so much. Don't get me wrong. If we was playing that way and it got us relegated and stuff like that, you might have to think differently about it. But Grant, you don't have to play this way. If you're not Man City and you're not a team in that top 6, you don't have to play this way to get results. Look at Brighton. You know, even look at Newcastle, mate. Newcastle haven't spent as much as us. Not yet. Not yet. They haven't. They're playing good football. Look at Brentford. They play good football. You don't have to play the way that we play and just grind out results because you're not Man City. That's my point.
Yeah, I think the grind it out bit. I think we're creating enough chances that there's almost this thing of that we are playing this negative Big Sam style football that I don't think we're playing.
I don't think it's like Big Sam's. Yeah. It is pragmatic though. Mate, we don't get going. We had in 7 of our 11 games, we haven't had a shot on target in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah. Only scored 2 goals in the first half.
Literally, in only 7 of those 11 games, we have had a shot in the first 45. Yeah. That is not fucking acceptable. I know a game isn't won in the first half, but a game can be lost in the first half. It can be out of sight. Why is it that in recent games that we only feel like we can get going when we go a goal down?
I genuinely don't understand that, but it's not like Moyes' his pre-match team talk is, I'll just doss about, lads, for the first 30 minutes or so. It doesn't matter because we'll get it in the second half.
Do you believe that? Do you believe that he doesn't set that team up to be cagey, control the game?
No, I don't.
You don't believe? Well, then, do you know what he's got wrong then, Grant?
Right.
Grant, now wait a minute. Then do you know what he's got wrong? If you think that David Moyes wants that team to come and fly out the blocks like Fulham did against us, then do you know what he's also at fault for? Not preparing the team properly and getting them firing out, because why can the likes of Fulham come out at us? So if that is the case and David Moyes wants them to come out the blocks, then he ain't preparing his team properly. But I don't think that is the case. So either way, he's getting it wrong, either tactically or the team are not doing as he's telling them to do, but we can blame the players for that, but that comes down to him. That comes down to match preparation.
I don't know. We got caught out early by Fulham. There was players get caught out of position.
They could have been 3-0 up after 15 minutes, mate.
Could have been same against. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I don't know.
I know what you're saying. You've got so much. You got so much respect for him because he got us a 6th and 7th place finishes, and I think this is where it gets muddied because I have as well. I've got a lot of respect for what David Moyes has done when he came in. There is nobody can discount it. Nobody can say he's done more than just stabilise us. He's done more than just save us. He moved us on into freak seasons, I might add, that was affected by COVID. Bit weird, but he made the most of it. He got us into a 6th place and a 7th place finish. He's helped start building the foundations of a good team. He has done a good job. You're right. He got us into the semi-final of a European competition and then completely bottled it because I'm not being funny. Grant, did you see the kitchen sink that he threw at Frankfurt? Because I didn't. It ain't like he went for that game. He didn't. So
right. What happens against Frankfurt, mate?
One minute, mate. Hang on.
First leg.
Oh. Hello. Hang on. This is Irish Tommy's phoning in. I'm just trying to patch him through. 1 minute. Tommy.
Evening, folks. How are we?
He's there. How are you? You all right? You all good?
Yeah, good now. Just had a nice big dirty fry, so I'm very happy by
I thought you were going to say something else there. Yeah.
Fry, F-R-Y.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Behave yourselves. Right.
So,
I'm a good Catholic boy from Ireland.
Well, thanks for calling in, mate. What would you like to talk about?
Just what you've been talking about already, really. I suppose the Moyes question is a big one at the moment. You know, given that our form has not been very good, we're struggling to score goals. We're very defensive.
Yeah.
I coined the phrase recently, poverty football, because I think that's what we're playing.
Yeah.
I think, you know, might spend an awful lot of money in the summer on some very good players. And most of the teams that we will come up against in the Premier League do not have as good a starting 11 and don't have as good a bench as we'll have.
Yeah.
And yet, Moyes still plays this poverty football as if we're a team that's come up from the Championship and doesn't have a squad of players that can compete on the same level as the other players in the league. I think it's ridiculous, given the players that we have and that we can put out. I think we can put most teams in the league to the sword just on quality alone.
Yeah.
And like I don't get hung up on the formation. I don't even often get completely hung up on the 11 that are on the field. I might have an issue with one or two of the players that are on the field. Generally, I'll have much the same team out as David Moyes, with a little tweak maybe. I'll generally have more attacking players on the pitch, usually. I wouldn't go to Enfield with 2 attacking players on the pitch, let's put it that way.
No.
And so I don't think Moyes is utilising the players at his disposal. I don't think he's getting the best out of them. I don't think he's allowing them to express themselves as players.
No.
I think he holds them back because of his cagey approach to games. And frankly, it's not just when we're away to Liverpool or Chelsea or United. We've seen this in games at the London Stadium at times. I mean, I remember in one particular game that was live, we were at home to Brighton, and even Gary Neville in the commentaries said that David Moyes had set up as if we were playing Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He set up like we were terrified of them, and I'm sick of it, to be completely honest, because I don't think it has to be this way. I agree with you completely, Chris, that, you know, that we don't have to play this way to get results. You know, I'm all for pragmatism, but Moyes, I think, is far too pragmatic. I think he's far too cautious.
He is.
And I think he's got to let these players off the leash, because we can actually go toe-to-toe with a lot of the teams in this league and say, we're better than you, we've got better players than you all over the pitch, and we are going to go toe-to-toe with you, and we're going to beat you. And I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And I know I'll get in the comment section now, because it happens every single time. Every time I talk about having a go at anybody, including Liverpool at Anfield, which today I think demonstrated we should have.
They say, oh, you want to go gung-ho and get beat 5-0. I know. Tommy, I don't think we're saying that, right? Like I said at the start of the show,
no, we're not.
I wasn't saying. I thought the shape was okay. I thought the midfield three, even though it was 3 central defensive midfielders, I thought that was okay. But you know something? If that front 3 had have been attacking, I'd have been happy. So if we'd have had Benny instead of Fornals, I probably would have been okay for that. So Bowen, Scamacca, Benny, that is a front 3 that can go and attack them. But he tipped it so that we basically had a defensive 4, and then we had a midfield defensive 4, because Fornals was playing as a left wing back on the left hand side. Downs was almost out as a right winger. Souček and Rice were in the middle. That was kind of how they were playing. So we had 8 players, defensive-minded players. Scamacca, who got pelters from all this fucking XG mob, who say, oh, XG. They're blaming Scamacca now because XG says we should have scored X amount of goals by this point. Well, I'm sorry, a lot of the chances that Scamacca's had in recent games, they're chances that he's created himself, where he's kind of he's shifted, he's shots from distance and stuff like that. It ain't like he's getting chances put on a plate for him relentlessly. He ain't like Haaland playing for City. You know, they're not great chances that we're creating. They're not. It's always the same kind of it's the same overload attack. It's going down the wings, wide areas, waiting for our slow fucking fullbacks to get up the pitch. It doesn't. I don't understand it. I know Paqueta. People are saying now that it's because Paqueta's been injured. Well, Paqueta hasn't really set the world alight, has he, since he's been in? So I don't think that Paqueta being injured is a massive loss just yet. In fact, he might be a great player one day. In fact, I think at present, I think Benny is every bit as effective as Paqueta.
I thought Benny was awful when he came
Yeah, I
on,
don't
but then I
disagree
saw
with that.
somebody who I really respect their analysis say that gave Benny an 8 for his performance. So
that Benny coming on is what shifted the game in our favour. That's when we started attacking them. And
I thought he was poor. I thought he gave the ball away. I thought he lacked ideas.
So
he ran in and lost the ball. But
he gave the ball away. So what? Why are you fucking obsessed with possession?
Calm down, Tommy.
Who cares if he gave the... Listen, if you've got
hard to score the ball, Tommy, it's hard to score if the other team haven't got the ball on it.
Yeah,
it's hard to score when the other team got the ball.
Hang on, no, Tommy. Whoa. No, Tommy, let Grant talk. I'm going to play mediator. Let Grant say his part, and then you say and then you go back. Don't shout each other down. Come on. Right, go on, Grant.
Apologies, Grant. Go ahead.
Go on.
No, you're fine, pal. You're fine. I just like if you keep giving the ball away, then the whole point of having possession, is that if you keep the ball, you create chances and you score. That's what all the top sides do. So, Benny coming on and giving, and I have been a massive I thought I would have started Benny. I hope Benny would start. He would be in my front three. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I would play for
I think any team, Grant, especially when you've got 4 defenders and 3 central defensive midfielders, can afford to have one player with a free role.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, completely agree. I would have started Benny. I thought Benny was going to start.
Yeah, and that was kind of what I don't get, and it almost gets to a stage in the end. And like I say, I do believe it. I think you kind of agreed with me earlier on, Grant, that the only reason that David Moyes went 2 up front in the end is because it was a very clear insult from Klopp when he pulled off those 3 players. When we was watching it, we all said the same thing on the watch along. We went, "Is he taking the piss?" They're 1-0 up. He's just taking off Thiago, the bloke he could have had 4 goals in the first half, Nunes. And I can't think of the other one that they took off. But you think, what was that all about? It was like it was like an insult. And I think that was kind of what got David Moyes' back up. He did make his changes. Yes, they were telegraphed on 60 minutes and then 70 minutes like he does. You know, it's kind of like they're scheduled. He's got a little alarm that goes off. But he went for it, and it was refreshing, wasn't it? I mean, let me ask you this, and then we go to you, Tommy. Grant, how much would you like to start the game with that 4-4-2? Would you? You wouldn't want to start the game like that?
No, because Antonio gasses so quickly. Antonio is an impact player. You bring him off the bench, and then he runs. He's
been playing 90 minutes on his own for fucking 18 months, mate.
And he was getting pelters every single week. Everyone was.
What I'm saying is he wouldn't have to do the job on his own now. If you play 2 up front, you're not doing a lone job where you're just having to do it on your own. There's 2 of you.
Yeah, to me, he's so.
You wouldn't want to see us finish a game you wouldn't want to see us start a game how we're finishing it at the moment.
No, finish. It's an impact. He's a 60-30 player to me. You give him 60 minutes against Silkeborg to start, and then you hook him off, and then against United and against Bournemouth, you give him 30 minutes at the end.
So what would you have changed against Liverpool?
I would go 4-3-3.
We was 4-3-3. It's just that Fornals was playing as a left wing. It's just that Fornals was playing as a left wing.
I would have played Downs, Rice, and Fornals as my middle 3.
Yeah,
and I would have gone Benny, Skamaka, and Bowen as my front 3.
That's what.
And then I would flip. Depending on who we're playing.
Yeah.
Against had Paqueta been fit, I would have played him instead of Fornals against Liverpool. Against the lesser sides, I would play Fornals, Rice, and Paqueta all together.
Yeah.
And let Rice be the drop back, and then have give Fornals and Paqueta more room to be creative. But that's depending who you play, and then make sure that there's 2 up with Skamaka that can play off him like he did at Sassuolo. Doty is spot on. That is.
Yeah, David Moyes is the one who's brought these players.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go back and you go back a few seasons, then remember how bad we were.
Yeah, but then you can go back to 15, 16 and look how good we were. It ain't like we had a bad period under Pellegrini. That hasn't defined the way that we've always been. Yeah, we were shocking. But you know what? No, Grant. Do you know what? Grant, do you know where we are? Now, what I'm saying is, we've spent 300 million in 2.5 years. Yes, Moyes did well in those 2 seasons, but do you know where we've arrived back at? Virtually where we were when Moyes took over. The football is poor. We could be bottom 3 by the time we play on Monday after 12 games. After 300 million spent, in 2.5 years.
Why were we so good the last year at the Boleyn? What's the one reason?
Well, we had a great player, but we've got great players now. We never had a great Declan Rice in 15-16.
No, we had an absolutely world-class player that.
I know. But anyway, Tommy's on the line, so I'll take you off the naughty step, Tommy, because that's normally where I'm sitting. So, right, Tommy. So go on. Just.
Apologies, Grant.
No, that's all right. No. So go on, Tommy. I know you've got a similar opinion to me, mate. I know you have. And I think the issue is it's so. I think the Moyes in people. The Moyes in people like it. The people who are Moyes in. I think they're focused more on what Moyes has done as opposed to what Moyes is doing. Personally, because they will always say the same thing. They will always say semi-final against Frankfurt. We he saved us from relegation. We 6 and 7 play finishes, and like I say to you, they won't even acknowledge if. And the thing is, it is a fact in the league. Tommy, how long has it been since we've been poor in the league?
Since we've been poor in the league?
Since we've been poor in the league. How many months have we been poor in the Premier League?
Oh, sorry, right, okay. Oh, it's basically this entire calendar year.
It's been a year, isn't it?
Yeah, it's roughly, we had a great start to last season. We got out of the blocks really quickly.
Yeah.
But then it kind of fell off a bit. I mean, Antonio dried up completely in his goal scoring.
Yeah.
I think he scored a few goals very quickly. Looked like we were going to have another potentially great season. But unfortunately, I think it just dropped off around this time, around November, if I recall correctly. And we never recovered from that. We were very patchy, very, very patchy.
Yeah.
For the rest of that season. Obviously, it was the cracks were papered over with the run in Europa.
They were 100%.
They were, because if we didn't have European football last season and we were getting those same results, I think the feeling among the fan base would have been very different. But I think because we were having these amazing nights in Europe, and they were amazing, and I don't want to play that down. I mean, I absolutely loved our European campaign last season.
Yeah,
it was fantastic, and we've been starved of that.
Yeah,
but I think it did act as a cloak. I think for the real kind of state of play, as it were, domestically. And this season, you can't really say that because look, we're in Conference League. The teams aren't as good. We're coasting through the group stage. You can't certainly use our European games as an excuse for our performances in the Premier League.
No.
And the question for me is, if you're going to use credit in the bank as a way of supporting Moyes for the way we've been playing, I mean, at what point do you decide, okay, you can't live on that anymore. You can't keep dining out on it forever, Chris.
Yeah.
At some point, we've got to wake up and smell the roses. And realize that something has got to change. It's got to change quickly. We are playing, in my opinion, beneath ourselves. We're playing like a team that can't compete with the teams we're playing against. We're far negative. And I think that has to change, or the manager has to change. Now, if Moyes wants to go ahead and do it, Moyes has spoken about evolution himself.
He has.
He's already said that we can't keep playing like this, that we have to evolve and we have to become better at creating and scoring chances.
Yeah.
Creating chances and scoring goals. Because as we've improved, teams have sat back more and more. There are far fewer teams having a pop at us.
Yeah.
because of our position, what our position has been in the table and our results. And we've struggled to deal with that. And then I see Moyes putting out a team with 2 attacking players on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know, and where's the evolution? I don't see it. I think we've completely stalled.
I don't see the evolution at all, mate, and I don't think it's going to come. And look, this is the thing. There's a lot of people in the chat, and there's obviously people that I know as well. And there's one in particular, really respect him, Richard Dodge. You can't not. This guy lives. He's a West Country man, and he travels home and away constantly. You know, goes every game, dedicates so much of his life to West Ham. And he's happy. He's kind of happy with it. He goes to the games. I get it, but Dodsey, different people like different things. I also know an awful lot of people that do travel to the games as well that are not happy with it. And this is where it comes down to division. I don't personally understand how anybody can enjoy watching the style of football that we're watching. That's my take. But that doesn't mean that I'm right and you're wrong. It's just obviously I look for different things in football. I want to be entertained. I want to see. I don't like sitting back. The fault of going to teams and trying to kill 45 minutes and then trying to nick something at the end, that's fucking bullshit in my book. You know, we can't only play half a game.
Do you remember actually, Nick?
I do respect all your opinions, though. I do. I know everyone thinks differently. Go on, mate.
Chris, do you remember an interview that Antonio gave a few months ago where he said Moyes tells them to sit back and keep it tight for the first 30 minutes of each half.
Absolutely.
And then in the final 15 minutes of each half, we'll start trying to get forward and create some chances and see if we can nick a goal.
Yeah.
Now, that to me is completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable, and it's exactly what we saw at Anfield.
It is.
And we are better than that. We are better than that. We've got better players than that. And that's why I call it poverty football. We're playing like we don't have very good players.
No.
When we do. And if I very quickly, Chris, and it's very brief, because I know you probably want to get some more callers on. I just want to touch on this possession thing again.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not suggesting for a second that any fan of West Ham wants to see us constantly giving the ball away all over the field.
No.
That's no good. You've got to be able to retain possession. But there comes a point, certainly I think in certain positions and with certain players, where you have to allow for them to lose the ball a certain amount of times if they're going to do what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So, for example, let's take Benrahma. If Benrahma is picking up the ball on the left-hand side, and to be honest, I can't believe he didn't start against Liverpool when we knew Trent Alexander-Arnold was going to be playing, because he is not good defensively. That was the ideal game for Benny to run at him. So let's say Moyes had started Benny.
Yeah. If
you're going to fill Benny's head with some obsession about not losing the ball, he won't do a thing all game.
No.
Because in his head, all the manager's priority is that I don't lose the ball.
Absolutely, yeah.
There are certain positions where you should be saying to them, and Benrahma's one, don't get hung up on possession. Get at their back line, particularly Alexander-Arnold, run at him and keep running at him. Yes, sometimes you might lose the ball. He might win the battle, he might nick it off you. But sometimes he won't, and you'll get past him, and you'll be in behind.
I mean, to be quite honest, Tommy, but you know, with this argument with Benny losing the ball, he doesn't lose the ball any more than Paqueta. He doesn't make any more misplaced passes than Paqueta. Players that try things, occasionally it's going to go wrong. It is going to go wrong. When you try something, it's going to go wrong. But there's a clear agenda there. With Benny is not a Moyes player. He's not a Moyes player. Paqueta he sticks with.
He didn't want him in the first place, did he?
He didn't want him, but that doesn't make it right, Grant.
He bought him.
But what?
I'm just saying.
It doesn't.
All I'm saying is, if you get too obsessed about possession, you end up playing a very slow, ponderous game, and you create absolutely nothing. There has to be a balance between. Sometimes, in certain positions, in certain situations, it's okay if you try something and lose the ball.
Yeah.
Because you've got to try something. You've got to get in behind people. You've got to create opportunities. Try and that pass through. You might not get it through. The centre-back or full-back might stick a foot out and block it, cut it out. But make the pass. Don't be obsessed with possession.
And this is, before you go, Tommy, and Grant, we'll talk about this as well, as Neil from Down Under's sort of come out, because there's been look, Fornals has been getting rightly slated for his performances, but I do love Fornals, and I think he's so much better than people give him credit for, and I think he has been playing bad, and I do blame Moyes for that, because he is being used. I don't know what he's being used for. He's being used as a defensive shield for Cresswell. He is a cultured player. He's been turned into a workhorse. He's shoehorned in on the left-hand side. And I use this term a lot, and I do. I said Fornals has been moised. I believe that. Oh, it's every time you see Fornals, it's almost like he's forgetting how to play football. You know, because I don't think he's. Yeah. Go on, mate. Go on.
Do you know what Moyes has turned him into?
Go on.
A holding winger.
No, yeah, that's exactly right.
He's taken a central player who can play very, very well at 8 or 10 and turned him into a holding winger.
Yeah,
and I agree. I think he's completely stunted Fornals.
Yes, I know.
Completely stunted him.
Eastside Views has got a very good point here, Grant. What have you got to say to that? Ranieri won Leicester the league and got sacked the following season.
What have I got to say to that? I don't know.
No. What I mean is, when we go back to, we've got to stick with Moyes because of what he's done for us. Is that not kind of a prime example as to, you know, what? Do you know what I mean? It doesn't always work just because something was working before. And sacking Moyes now, if it's not working, it doesn't mean that Moyes is all of a sudden a bad manager now. I just think that with managers, Tommy, and I don't think he is a bad manager, Tommy. I just think that David Moyes is good at certain things. I do. But with managers, I do think, and it ain't personal, I just think sometimes if it stops working, managers provide a function for me. They do. They pick the team. They prepare them. I mean, according to a lot of people that defend Moyes, he doesn't take any sort of he doesn't take any criticism for the way they play and passing the ball and stuff. So literally all he does is just pick the team, which he doesn't. We know that. He coaches them. So this is where it comes back to, when we're playing badly, that is down to the manager. But the fact of the matter is, when that manager isn't performing well and when it looks like the team is in trouble, and that's my main concern here, is getting relegated, you move on, you get a different manager. That's it. It doesn't mean that Moyes is shit all of a sudden. It just means it is stopped working. Or David Moyes has done his job. We shake his hand. We say thank you very much. He leaves a great legacy in place for what he's done over the past 2 years, which has been fantastic. He's laid good foundations. Another manager comes in and takes that project forward. Or David Moyes can stay in place and outstay his welcome with the fan base, and nobody will remember him for anything other than not nobody. People, a lot of people obviously will, but many people will grow tired of him, and that legacy that he has will evaporate. In my opinion, it'll be gone.
Or we get another manager in.
Yeah,
doesn't change anything.
It's
either as good as or worse.
That's no reason to stick.
No, well,
if you're not happy, if you're in a relationship you're not happy with, you don't stay in that relationship in case the next relationship's worse.
You work on it. But,
you know?
Yeah, we ain't gonna.
There's no working on it. Listen, to work on it, both people have to be willing to change.
Yeah,
Moyes will not change.
Well,
that's fine. So look, what we're going to do, because Tommy, thanks for your call, mate. Thank you very much for calling in.
No worries. Cheers, guys.
All right, mate. Nice one. Cheers. If anyone else does want to call in, thank you very much. For instance, look, listen, if anybody wants to come in and be coming from the other side of the coin, it's fine. And also in the chat as well, I've invited Grant on tonight to sort of, he's been quite brave. We know the way the fan base is. So certain people, if you're in the chat and you are saying things you shouldn't be doing, don't attack the guests. I've invited Grant on to provide balance because he's got a different perspective. Okay, so yeah, don't shoot the messenger. Right, I've got another one coming in, Grant. Hopefully it's someone who's gonna shout at me. Right, hang on. Hello. Who's this? This is a number I've not seen before. Oh, hello. Is this one of those sex calls?
Not again.
Is he going to start breathing heavy? I love them. Can you phone me back after? All right, go on. See you later. Bye. Right, okay. I don't know who it was. I don't know who it was. But yeah, so yeah, but I think what you can see though, Grant, there is you can see that Kent's one, for instance. You know, like Kent and Dodsey. Kent goes to an awful lot of the games as well. He travels everywhere. And there are many people. There are many people that are happy with. This is the thing. I don't believe there's anyone that's happy with the current situation. I don't think there's many people that are happy with the current situation, but there's some people that believe in Moyes. Is that fair to say, Grant? So not necessarily happy with the way things are, but you believe in him and you believe he can turn it around.
I think there's circumstances behind it all. Everyone talks about how bad we've been and how bad we've played.
Yeah.
Well, when Ogbonna got injured against Liverpool, and Ogbonna was playing really well last year,
yeah,
and then Zuma goes down against Chelsea in December, and then we absolutely fell to pieces at the back, and Dawson was absolutely awful.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Dawson's twin brother turned up at the club. Nobody realised it because Dawson's form just completely changed things around. Had Ogbonna stayed fit, had Zuma stayed fit.
Yeah.
And again, these are all, and everyone will start digging out and going, well, that didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. I get that.
Yeah.
I just think sometimes when you look at, again, this season, you look at the back, he's having to juggle that back line all the time because there's so many injuries. And if we ever get off a fit back line and he can make his first choices, and there are some issues, there are some players that aren't, there are, left back. Cress has, I love Creswell, but he's kind of, his time has come. He has passed it. Getting Emerson in wasn't really the answer. It didn't really help us. Johnson at times looks brilliant. He was absolutely awful against Liverpool.
Do you think, with Johnson, do you think Johnson could be one of those players? And I'm not blaming Moyes for this, by the way, but Johnson is just a utility player. Do you think Johnson could just be suffering from constantly being shifted positions? Because if you remember back to when Johnson came in at right back and he had that run, do you remember? Right bastard run. And he was amazing against Liverpool City. He was fantastic. I think he had like a ridiculous stat, like a one-on-one stat where nobody could get past him.
Everyone moaned that he wasn't attacking enough. They said he was too defensive.
They did, but defensively, obviously, he made that error against Liverpool, and it was positionally, it was wrong. Do you think do you think he could be affected? Do you think that could be a symptom of being a utility player, where one week you're playing as the right of a centre back and you're being coached and this way, all of a sudden you shifted that way? And again, this isn't me having to go at anyone for doing this. We've needed to put a few in defence. We've had to put a few square pegs in round holes. We've had to do it, but in Johnson's defence, I think I like to think that probably has had something to do with it. I think Johnson's been one of those players, left back, centre back, right back. He never knows where he is. Wing back, which he's not. And did you see the video on? I posted it on Facebook, and it was Gary Neville, and I think they were literally talking about West Ham as well, and Carragher, and they were talking about, Neville was talking about the difference between being a right back and a right wing back, and he said. He said the difference is fucking massive. He said I had to do it once or twice. He said, and even though you're only playing 10 yards up the pitch, he said it's like you're on another planet. He said it's horrible. He said because you've got to be expected. He said when you're a right back, naturally you're defensive minded. He said all of a sudden you can't get rid of that caution. You're 10 yards further up the pitch. You've been tasked with getting up and providing an attacking threat, but you've still got to get back. He said it is a completely alien job for a right back, and Carragher was agreeing with him as well. So this kind of changing from 3 to from 3 to 4 to this to that, you need different players, specialist players for that. I don't think there's very many players in the defensive areas that can just transition like that. I don't think they can.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts of why we're not using Emerson? When you look at Fornals, I know Cornet's injured, and even if Moyes wanted to go defensive, it's the same Moyes wanted defensive cover for Cresswell. Surely Emerson's better defensive cover for Cresswell than Fornals on the left side. He's a left wing back.
He played that the game before, didn't he? He played that against Southampton, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Surely he would be like a better option, and he's quicker going forward.
I'm not. I don't think too much to Emerson. I think I don't know. He doesn't really it doesn't really do it too much for me. Again, it's good, a good squad player. I think there were better left back options out there. I think there were younger options out there. I think we ended up buying him because of who we wanted. We wanted the Frankfurt guy, didn't we?
Yeah.
And the what's his name? The other German player who.
Oh, Rahm. That would have been a good one.
Rahm.
Fucking hell. Yeah, that would have been a good one.
Yeah. So, like that, we were shopping in those sort of waters and we didn't get them. And then all of a sudden we panicked and had to bring in Emerson. So,
yeah,
he's functional. He can. I think he got bought because he can play wing back. He kind of plays when the Italians play 3-4-3. He played that. He played left back at Chelsea. He can,
Yeah. Right. I'm gonna take umbrage with my alter ego here. We actually no. He's kind of he's east side. He's very much Moyes out. But what I will say, because I disagree with you here, east side, and this is one of the reasons why. For instance,
he's absolutely spot on. He's spot on. Poch has said repeatedly he's turned the Nice job down. He's just turned the Villa job down. His representatives have said he is waiting.
But if you don't believe that you can get this type of manager, then
you can't.
Why are you kind of because the thing is where it comes to, in that case, Eastside, because for me that breaks my heart because I want Poch. So if you don't think we can get Pochettino, you're very much Moyes out. Who do you want? Let me know in the chat. Let me know who you want instead. If you don't think Poch is going to come, right? 1 minute. I'm just going to take this one quickly, Grant. Oh, hello. Hello, can you hear me? This don't work anymore. I don't know whether it's working or not. Hello. No. I think I'm getting a nuisance caller. Hang on. Oh no. He's saying he couldn't hear me. Let me call him back. Hang on, 1 minute. I'll try again. Fucking technology, hey? Right. Is it just not working now? Hello, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Right. Stay there, mate. I'm going to try and sort this out. Grant, honestly, get all this new tech and none of it works. Hang on. How about now, mate? Can you hear me now? Still not working. Right, mate, give me 2 minutes and what I'm going to do, I'm going to carry on talking to Grant and I'll give you a call back. I'm just going to basically unpair my phone and repair it with this stupid thing that I've got.
Yeah, all right,
I'll call you back. Cheers.
mate, bye.
Right, no, it wasn't a nuisance caller. It was me being a nuisance. Hang on. Let's get rid of that. Put that there. Don't know what I'm doing. What have I done to the screen, Grant?
I was going to say you laid a smaller live Q&A over the top of the larger.
I don't know. Right, okay. Let me just bear with me, people. Bear with me, people. Right, so let's find you a question.
People in,
look,
there's a lot of people in the chat.
Here's one from Doddsy. Go on. Here's one for you, Grant.
Yeah, absolutely. It's it, isn't it? I mean, I don't know. Those late 90s sides under Harry, that was unbelievable. But we were awful away from home. We were,
It would have been great to have had a season ticket though that year, wouldn't it? Well, not that year, that period. That period.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was the whole. That makes you think. Again, what happened though? Why?
Here we go.
Why was that period so good?
Hello.
We had two world-class players.
It's working now. You're online. You're online.
Oh,
Sorry about that, mate. Right. So what's your name?
James.
James. Hello, James. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. You?
Yeah, not bad. Could you hear me? Because it was you who phoned earlier on when I started doing the. I thought you was a nuisance caller.
I think when you answered it stopped. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, that's good. Probably just as well. Right. So anyway, mate. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think I've been listening to all of it. I think that you both make some good points. I think Tommy made some good points. I think the biggest problem we got is central midfield. We need someone to get the ball moving forward. So like a Fornals in central midfield, maybe Paqueta playing a bit deeper. And obviously the one to take out is Souček. But it just doesn't seem like it seems when we try and attack, we're going down the left or the right. And when it comes to Rice or Souček, they're playing it side to side and trying to get it out to the wings and break them down that way. But
I know what you mean. That's really defensively solid, especially when you got Downs in there. But there's not too much of a forward thinker in there, is there?
No, well, I get it. I get why he puts Souček in. I know a lot of people don't like Souček. I don't think he's playing well. But even against Liverpool, in that first 20 minutes, Moyes would have loved. There was a lot of balls that came into the box and he was heading them away. He took one on the face that ended up getting cleared and stuff like that. And he ain't going to take him out. I get that. I get he ain't going to take him out. He probably should.
Yeah.
But if he's serious about attacking teams and going at teams, we need someone in the centre of the park that can play the ball forward. And I'm looking at Fornals, thinking he's the only real one, other than dropping Paqueta deeper. Well, he's the one that I could see that might be able to do it.
I think it's a more sensible choice than Paqueta. I'll tell you why. I don't know whether you agree with me on this. My main concern with Paqueta is if you play him deep, the guy loses the ball a lot. He gets the ball nicked off of him, misplaced passes. I don't think you can't really have that just in front of your back four, can you?
No, but he might change his game. But look, when he came, there was a lot of talk he could play 8 or 10. He might change it up a bit playing at 8. He might not take as much of a risk.
Yeah, maybe.
But it's just, I see that when it goes into centre midfield, we don't attack through the middle at all. It's always got to go to out left to Emerson or Cresswell, and then it comes back inside and goes back over the other side to Soufal or whoever's playing out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main problem. But also what I was going to say is, I wouldn't say I'm Moyes out or anything like that. I appreciate that he's had a lot of bad luck this season. At centre-back at the beginning of the season, we were playing Ben Johnson. He's had a nightmare with Aguerd. Then he had Dawson out and Zuma's been playing with an injury all year. So I do think he's had a bit of a bad luck. But
yes,
it's not so much the Anfield away at Liverpool, because you don't expect a lot there. You expect to go at them, but you don't expect a result. But when you're playing against Fulham and that, you've got to go out to beat these teams. And if he's not going to do that, it's not going to last very long. Do you know what I mean? He's got like Bournemouth on Monday. He's got to go and beat them. There's no excuse for not going and beating Bournemouth at home.
Yeah, that's it. So, just before you go, right, this is John, aka Virgil, one on our channel. So this is part of the problem. So this is why it's divisive. And this is the thing. You've got these people that are Moyes in. It's almost like, I don't know. I don't know whether you feel like you're a better fan or something like that. But they refer to people that are Moyes out all the same. Everyone that wants Moyes out is the same. And it's a Moyes out brigade. See, all that does is you just all you're doing there, John, is you're just adding to the problem. You're stirring the pot between people that are Moyes in and Moyes out. And there's a lot of people that do that. So if you don't agree with me, you're part of this fucking dirty club.
I listen to everyone, whoever is talking. I listen. I think everyone makes good points and stuff like that. I think Tommy made a few good points, and with the Benrahma losing the ball, you've got to allow some players to lose the ball. That's a great point.
Yeah,
but I do think sometimes people, like me, for example, I've been a season ticket holder for 15, 16 years or something, and the last 2 seasons has probably been the best 2 seasons I've ever watched. Like, other than obviously the championship season where we came up, went to Wembley, we won most weeks, but it was championship football. So if Moyes got sacked tomorrow, I'd be gutted, because we've lost a guy that's given me the best time I've had as a West Ham fan. But at the same time, I do understand that you cannot be going and setting up with 7, 8 men behind the ball.
Oh, mate, you can't.
I get it. If he's playing a 4-2-3-1,
how did you feel today? How did you feel today with the Nottingham Forest win?
Well, it annoyed me. I was fucking annoyed at it, because I think we could have done that.
I know.
But I do think when he goes with a back 3, so say if he plays a back 3 or a 5 or whatever, there's no excuse for having 3 centre backs, a goalkeeper, 2 wing backs, and then still playing 2 in front of them. Like, maybe if he plays a 4-2-3-1, I get you can have 2 holding midfielders in that. But there's no justification for playing 2 holding midfielders when you've got 3 centre backs and 2 wing backs.
Yeah, no. I just don't know the fucking answer to it, mate. Under David Moyes, I don't know what the answer is. I mean, look, do I think that David Moyes is a terrible manager? No, he's clearly fucking not, is he? He's not a terrible manager. But I see. So can I give you my brain? I'll do a quick brain fart into what I think. This is profiling managers, right? So I think David Moyes is a pragmatic manager, right? He's a safe manager. He is a manager you get in when you're struggling relegation. That's when you're struggling for relegation. You bring him in to save you because he's a here and now manager, right? He builds a nice, small, tight-knit group of players. He gets them all playing. He gets the running stats up. He goes out and gets the players that, a couple of players that he needs. And then that's what this type of manager does. They operate for the here and now. But there is a reason why these managers are rarely kept beyond the point where they've done their job. Because I think it's a different type of job, and that's why I was so keen on David Moyes going after Everton. I'm not so keen now. I don't see the point now. You might, as if it's going to happen, just wait till the World Cup, because I don't see the point. Because at Everton, my thinking was that was the season. We was only 6 games into the season. It was a continuation of the previous season. It was. That would have been a more attractive proposition for a new manager coming in, a top manager, because they're not taking on a team that's in a relegation battle. And I just think that by leaving it the way that we are going to leave it, and I can understand why they're leaving it, because Moyes has credit in the bank. Everyone's right, he does. But that's why I wanted him gone at that point, because I couldn't see. I'd been getting frustrated with him all towards the end of last year. It started the same way this year, even with the money spent. And I just I look at all those players that we've got, all of them, and I'm thinking, don't fucking waste it. Don't waste it. This could be our last year with Declan Rice.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing with the Souček thing. I don't know whether that's... Because it's quite clear to me, like, I like Souček, and I understand why Moyes likes him. He's good in both boxes. Up the other season, his running stats where he gets about the pitch, he puts his body on line. I get all that. But it's quite clear to me that he's the one right now that should be coming out, and he should be getting Fornals in there, playing Paqueta deeper, maybe Downs. But the problem is with Downs, you've got another 2 holding midfielders in there. It doesn't... I know he might be a bit more like mobile and better on the ball than Souček, but he's still a holding midfielder. But I understand why he's not going to take him out, because that's what Moyes loves. He loves a guy who's going to be good in defending in your box, good in the attacking box, going to cover the miles. But he can't stick with that because it's not working. And this season it hasn't worked, and it has to change. And I think that what Grant said, I've thought about it before. If you stuck Rice, Fornals there, Paqueta in front of him, Ben Rama in front of him, I think that changes the whole team, because it gives us another route to attack down, not just going out left or right. We can go through the... Fornals can play early ball. I know he hasn't been brilliant this season, but he can play an early ball, quick ball through the middle, and you've got another option.
But let me ask you this, okay? We know that we've got plenty of options in that team. We can play different ways. We're at home against Bournemouth on Monday night. We could be in the bottom 3. We won't be, because not all of those teams are going to win tomorrow. It ain't going to happen. We might be in or around.
And we're going to win.
Yeah, but against Bournemouth, let me ask you, how do you expect David Moyes to set out? Because our man at 6'2", who's got the last umpteen squad predictions or team predictions right, I think he's 5 or 6, he's predicted the same lineup. He reckons it's going to be exactly the same as we started against Liverpool, with Fornals out on the left.
Well, I think it could be. He might do a couple of... He might bring Koufal in for right back or something like that. He might bring...
Yeah.
You might see him bring Ben Rama. I know the pressure's coming on him to play Ben Rama a bit more. He might go Ben Rama instead of Fornals, but I don't think he'll change it where it matters, which is centre midfield.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And I'll be disappointed if I look at that lineup Monday night and he's got Souček and Rice there. I'm not saying we can't win. He could play Souček and Rice and we could win. But I think long term, it's not the way to go forward. But I do worry about what you said about Rice. He might be looking at Souček thinking, he is my holding midfielder. I don't really want to upset him, because when Rice goes in the summer, I'm going to need him on side. So I don't know if he doesn't want to drop him now. And do you know what I mean? He might not want to piss him off before next season.
Yeah, mate. I don't think he's got any intention of keeping Souček, or Souček would have been given his new contract.
Yeah, you say that though, but he plays every week, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I thought that when all them rumours came out and said that he won't give Souček the money he wants, now you don't know whether it's true. It might be bollocks anyway, but you don't know whether it's true or not. When all them came out, I thought, well, we might see him drop Souček if he's playing badly. He still played every game, hasn't he?
But when you look at the players that we were linked with, for instance, we were linked with Onana massively. That was a David Moyes signing. He kind of wanted that player to come in. That's a Souček replacement. The player that we're linked with in the summer. Who's the Italian Grant that we're linked with in the to go over in January? Is it Locatelli?
Locatelli. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're linked with Locatelli, who's a Sassuolo central defensive midfielder, box to box, international, 24. Currently plays for, is it Inter or Juventus? Can't remember now. On loan.
I don't know. But you say Souček replacement, and I think you're right. But the danger is come next season, he ends up being a Rice replacement and playing next to Souček.
Don't say that. Yeah, no, I know. It's from Kent Hammers, and obviously, like I said,
he's at Juventus.
He's at Juventus. So like Dodsey, Kent travels all over the place as well. He says, look, Nick, I'm not 100% happy. It's just a case of being careful what you wish for at the start of the season. If you remember, I said Moyes could be a victim of his relative success. We jumped levels quickly, a bit of calm. Yeah, I get that, Ken. I do, and I don't not acknowledge the fact that he's done well. But for me, it's just about the style of football. For me, I can't help it. I mean, and the thing is, people are saying that they think that our best chance of winning a trophy this year is if we stick with Moyes, because of the Europa Conference. I mean, with all due respect, are you fucking mad? The guy's never won a trophy, and we all saw why he didn't win a trophy in both legs of that Frankfurt competition. And in the second one, people will point to the fact that Cresswell got sent off. But in later on in that game, did you see a kitchen sink that he threw at that game? Did he really go for it? He didn't. He didn't. Not once. It was infuriating, and that was and that's shit or bust. It don't matter if you get beat 5-0 at that point. It's a knockout competition, so why not go for it? You know, and that's and for me, when you look at his record when he goes away, the most concerning thing for me with Moyes is his record, long-standing record away at the big six clubs, which is something like 69 games. It's about 69 games now.
Yeah,
like consecutively. He never ever goes to these places. Wherever he is, he never wins. He never wins.
He can change it, and if I got to stadium Monday night and I'd looked at that starting lineup and he'd got Fornals in there instead of Souček, and even I know he's not a massive fan of Benrahma, but not necessarily just Benrahma. If he had Antonio out on the left, Scamacca, if he wants to play one up top, play Scamacca up top, get Antonio out on the left, Bowen on the right. Yeah. That's a different team. It looks like a different team already.
It does. It is difficult. What's this? Moyes is calling Nick. Yeah. When I was getting those nuisance callers, I must be way back in the chat. Sorry, everyone. But anyway, mate. So moving on to Bournemouth, I'm confident that we're going to get something out of Bournemouth. I am. I think they've only got 3 wins this year, and they're all the teams that are in the bottom 3. I believe they beat Leicester, they beat Wolves, they beat Forest. They just got beat. Didn't Southampton beat him at their place?
Yeah, 1-0 at home. Yeah.
I think we're going to beat them. I do think that. Oh look, John's phoning in now. If John's watching, hang on. I'll call you back. Right, I'll call him back. He knows the rules. I've obviously upset him. So, yeah, like I say, so I forgot. I've lost my train of thought now. So what was I saying? So we've got. What about the next 3 games? So look. So while you're on the call, James. While you're on the call. We are loitering with relegation at the moment. Okay, are we 2 points from bottom place or 3 points? What is it?
Yeah.
Something like that.
2. I think we're 2 from the relegation. Are we 11 and it's 9? Is it?
Yeah, that's it. So and we're averaging less. We're averaging now, I believe, less than 1 point per game since December. Right now, that is relegation form. We're going to play Bournemouth. Okay, I hope we're going to beat them. I think we should. Then you've got Man United, which for me, what terrified me was the way that Man United set up and they played against Tottenham, who try and play in the way that we play. Well, obviously, they play a better version of it than we do because of where they are on the table. But they play a very similar style of game and they ripped Tottenham to shreds. So any team that goes to Man United and just sits there, you're playing into you're playing into their hands. That worries me. And plus, Moyes never wins at Old Trafford. So I don't think we're going to get a win there. It would be a miracle. And then after that, let's talk about Bournemouth, Palace, who were shit today apparently, and Leicester, who are a bit of a basket case. I think we need 6 points minimum out of those 3 games. Let's forget Man United. If we get something out of that, it's a bonus. So, Grant, I'll tell you, we'll go to you first. Out of those 3 games, what are you calling? Realistically, would you?
7. I would expect to beat Bournemouth and Leicester.
Yeah.
And I would say probably a draw with Palace. But you never know, because you don't know what Palace are going to turn up, because sometimes they look great and sometimes they look awful.
That's a worry, isn't it?
But they are quite attacking. Yeah,
That's
they're quite attacking. So, yeah. If you got 7 points out of that, you got to be happy. I mean, really, it's your home games against those teams. You probably want 9. If we're going to be serious, if we're serious about getting 7th, then we really need 9.
That's just for survival for me, Grant. Because I think if we get 6 points from the next 4 games, 6 or 7 points, and that puts us on 17 points, and then come the break, we'll play. I think we'll be on 15, 16 games. So 16 games will be on 17 points. So it will still only just it will only just be over a point per game. And then when we come back from the international break, our first game is Arsenal, and then we've got Brentford. So
again, but you look at Arsenal. How many players are going to be available?
What do you mean?
So Saka, Ramsdale.
Yeah, it's after the World Cup, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but they won't play. Like, we won't see Deck till the middle of January.
No, there won't be any breaks. The players will not be given a holiday after the tournament.
All right.
But we're going to give Declan Rice 2 weeks off.
I think.
Well, then we're fucked, aren't we?
Yeah.
Are we going to play there?
That's my
because you got Souček as well. So you got Rice, Souček. You got who else is going? Who else is going to the?
Souček's not going.
Is he not going? To Czech Republic not in there?
Czechs aren't going. No. Paqueta and Rice, maybe Bowen if he makes it. Aguerd will go. Zuma's never played for France since he kicked the cat.
No.
Areola, but we don't play Areola. I think that's it. I don't think.
Are you sure?
Anyone else
is that
go.
right? There is no way they're going to give those players time off.
You honestly think they're going to? Well, cool. My understanding is
it's middle of the season.
Everyone will get 2 weeks to come back. I
don't believe that.
That's why I say to you that I think.
Can anyone in the? I'm going to scroll down the bottom quickly. Let me start where I am. 1 minute. Okay. Can you tell me in the chat?
I don't think they can they? Because if they try to give everyone 2 weeks off,
right? Is that right?
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. You'd have teams that wouldn't be able to field the team.
No, of course you wouldn't. I mean, especially the top teams. I mean, you telling me there's a Man City player that don't play for his international, that don't play.
They wouldn't be able to field the team.
Well, Haaland's not going, is he? Mahrez.
Yeah, I know, but that is a good point. If they have 2 weeks off, because you know the congestion that we're facing before the World Cup, we're facing that immediately after the World Cup as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's about teams going really far. I mean, if we get knocked out in the group stage, then of course Deck will play against Arsenal. But if we're going to go, so it all depends. I'm just saying, I think that first game back against Arsenal isn't going to be as daunting as we think it's going to be. No, because there's going to be a lot of players that have just gone and played in a World Cup.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a mismatch. I think teams will come back. I think the bigger teams will find themselves running on fumes a little bit that first kick into January, and that's why I think, and then they'll go for it at the end. They'll come back to form.
It might work in our favour, that break. You don't know. It could do. But anyway, James, same question to you. Let's just discount the Man United game. It's one of those games where if we get something out of it, it's a bonus, but history dictates that we won't. So, what are your thoughts on what do you think is going to be acceptable out of Bournemouth, or what are you expecting out of Bournemouth, Palace, and Leicester? Those games.
Well, I think 6 points is acceptable, but after a start with we really need a minimum of 7, don't we? We can't be affording to. I think 7. If we got 7 out of them 3, I'd be happy with that. But I think he'll be all right if we get 6. I don't think anyone would moan too much. But I'd want 7 out of them 3 really. After the start, it'd be different if we were sitting 7th at the minute. You might be able to give one of them up, but after what we've started, like you'd need 7 out of them, I think.
Yeah, no, that's kind of where I sit as well. I think that's what we need. But it'd be just like West Ham to lose against Bournemouth and go and beat Man United, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't be like David Moyes, though.
No, it wouldn't. It's unlikely, isn't it?
It would be, yeah. I know. Okay, James, well, thank you. That was a brilliant call, mate. Thank you very much. Is there anything else you want to talk about? Or are you...
No, that's it. Just well done with the show. I really like it. It's going well in that.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Easy, lads.
Thank you very much. Cheers, James.
Cheers,
Take
James.
it easy.
Cheers. Bye. Good caller.
Yeah, very good.
Good caller. Right, we've had a couple of suggestions here, because after Eastside's bombshell of telling me that I can't have Pochettino, you've had Neil from Down Under, who's, I'm going to try and pronounce this, Ange Postecoglou. Is that right?
Yeah. How did that work for Gerrard? How'd that work for Gerrard?
Yeah, but this
was had an invincible season. He won the league with Rangers for the first time in 9 seasons.
This guy isn't. He's got experience. He's not an inexperienced manager, is he? I think he's managed before. Whereas Gerrard, it was his first job, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. I'm not. But I'll tell you what. This one. I never agree with Epic, but I do agree with this one. Thomas Frank. I think that would be a fantastic appointment. Come on, tell me that you don't want Thomas Frank, Grant.
My only concern with getting Thomas Frank is the recruitment system that they use at Brentford. We know that that's unlikely to be replicated by us, and that would concern me. I think he thinks he's a good manager. He said he's not surprised he's been linked with the Villa job because he's a good manager.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
There's a lot of Thomas Franks in there. Black Country's going Thomas Frank. How about Garino?
Is he bringing Ivan Toney with him?
Garino's normally the voice of reason. Garino, what would you go for a new manager? Just look, hypothetically, I know it's disrespectful because Moyes is still here, blah, 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 blah. But just say you wake up tomorrow, Moyes is sacked. Which manager would you like to take over? Not over David Moyes, not to replace David Moyes, Grant. But if David Moyes is gone and there's nothing you can do, you can't have him. David Moyes is gone.
Yeah.
What manager do you want to replace him? Okay? That's a question. So it ain't between David Moyes and someone. David Moyes is gone. He's vanished. Poof. He's gone. There's a dream.
I think that's so hard because who's available? Who can you get? If you look at Wolves, they set the manager. Everyone they approach, including the QPR managers, like, nah, I'm good. They approach the Portuguese manager, doesn't even have a job. He says, nah, I'm all right. I don't want to go. And now they've basically said the caretaker manager is going to stay until after the World Cup because they can't get anyone in.
Yeah.
It's that. So generally, your first choices aren't going to come in. I don't know. I mean, of who's available, who's out there that we could honestly, genuinely get. I think that's the problem.
I think you can get listen. You can get who you want. Okay, look what Chelsea did with Potter. We could do the same with Brentford. All you got to do is pay their contracts up, Grant. You haven't got to do anything else. You haven't got to buy them like you're buying a player. All you have to do when you're taking a manager is pay their contracts. That's it.
It's convince them that they're leaving for a better opportunity than what they got.
Well, Thomas,
I think Chelsea is a top 6 move. I don't, arguably Chelsea would say it's a top 4 move.
That was the one that done me. Potter was the one that I really wanted. I've got to be honest. I was gutted he went to.
And in 2 years, when they boot him, we might get him. I mean,
it could happen because they are basket cases, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't honestly know who would be out there that we could get.
No,
there's lots of good names, and then I can see you getting knocked back. There's the Sporting Lisbon's manager is apparently the hot name now. He might be going to Villa. He seems to be their favourite for the Villa job because Potts turned them down. But he had one good. I think he had one. Correct. Somebody in the chat will correct me. He had like one good season at Braga. They bought him out for 10 million, and he had one good season at Sporting, and then he's not doing so great now. But,
one second. Look, I don't know how far back this goes, but like I said, there's a bit of to and fro going from Eastside and Duke.
It's going all the way to the end.
Is it going all the way to the end? All right.
Yeah,
well, look, is it still going? Okay, right. Yeah, no, I'm not having that, mate. So you like last chances, either shut the fuck up, or I'm gonna kick you both out. I haven't got time to look at whose fault it is. I don't really care. Just stop arguing. So stop it now. Just ignore that each other are in the chat, or I'll just ban you both from the chat. Simple as that. Okay. Be nice. Right, go
Here's
on,
a good one. Peter Forex says, "What about Simeone? God blimey, you lot would love that if we got Simeone in."
What's that?
Went from if we got Diego Simeone in, went from Moyes to Simeone, and
yeah, I know. What about
that push you lot over the edge?
Oh no. What about
talk about negative now?
The only thing is, I think I'd be too scared. I'd be too scared to criticise him. That's the only thing. Yeah, Kent Hammers said he called Thomas Frank a month ago. Yes, you did, mate. You did. I think that would be a good shout. But yeah, that's it.
People are calling Lampard. My goodness me, can you imagine?
No, yeah. No, that's fine. Oh look, they're making up now. That's fine.
Talk about dividing this fan base.
That's fine, gents. Yeah, just try and coexist, even if you don't agree with each other in the chat. All right, you know, just like I have to coexist with John, who I'm going to call back now. Right, 1 minute. Let's phone him. Look, see what he wants. The big girl's blouse. I bet you don't pick up now. Hello, John.
All right.
Hello, mate. You're all right. Yes, you called in. I was on the phone to a nice bloke called James when you phoned him.
Yeah, I heard him. Yeah, no, he was a very good caller, old James. He made the show tonight, I'd say.
He did. He was good. Yeah,
you know?
Yeah,
he was good.
So come on.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. Talk to me.
Oh, I'm on there.
You're on. I brought you straight in, John.
Well, you didn't bring me straight in. You sent me a message saying I'll call you back in a minute. Now I've just become a guest on the show, haven't I? What's going on here?
Well, you got the invite, didn't you? You got the invite, and you fucking too busy.
I've been busy.
He's too busy, and he's in the chat from minute one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because that's easy to. Yeah, but I ain't got it strapped to my ear, however you donut. But I have got to listen to your conversations.
I know it's been a bit of a bonus not having to listen to yours, though. To be fair, so but go on. I'll give you 5 minutes. I'll give you 5 minutes of airtime. What do you want?
Muppet. Look, you know where I stand. I know where you stand.
Yeah.
I'm not Moyes out. I'm not Moyes out. But I'm not in a loving with Moyes that you allude to the fact that I am. Right?
That's what I do.
I know the football.
I win.
I know. Yeah, don't start with that. I know the football ain't pretty, right?
Yeah.
There's no getting away. At the end of the day, my main problem is, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
You're sitting here discussing all the possible managers, right?
Move your phone closer to your mouth. That's it. Go on.
Graham Potter.
Yeah.
Graham Potter, for example, would not have left Brighton for us, because at the moment, Brighton, what he built at Brighton was a good little project. The only reason he took the Chelsea job was because it was a job that he could not turn down. He may not get that chance again, right? Number one.
Yeah.
Right, so that was never going to happen. Number two, Pochettino, whatever his bloody name is, Cappuccino, Pochettino, the ex-Spurs guy, he wants a Champions League job. He's not going to come to West Ham. You say it's easy. We can go out and get any manager we want. We have to be an attractive proposition for that manager as well. You can't... It's like you think I'm being negative saying this. I'm not. We have to realise who we are and where we are at the minute. We're not going to be able to go out and just get every Tom, Dick or Harry manager that you think is the best manager around.
So John, can I ask you something, right? I asked Grant this same question. And this is so as to show no disrespect to David Moyes, okay?
Yeah.
Right?
No,
but David Moyes, you wake up in the morning, David Moyes is gone. He's sacked. It's done. Okay? So this isn't choosing between David Moyes and someone else. David Moyes is gone. We're going out there. We're now looking for another manager. Who would your pick be? Your realistic pick?
Well, my pick would be somebody who's been spoken about a lot in the chat. And the only reason he's my pick is because of two reasons. He's the most realistic option. He's the one we could possibly get, one we could possibly attract.
Yeah.
And he ain't doing a bad job, and that is the guy at Brentford. But the only problem with him is that he looks like Deirdre Barlow out of Coronation Street. But apart from that,
yeah, he does.
I think
he does.
He's the only. In my opinion, there's a lack of managers out there that are available that we can attract. I know you say it's easy, go and get them out of their contract, but we're not as appealing as you think we might well be.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
The guy from Celtic, he's managed in the Australian A-League and the J-League in Japan or somewhere. I mean, with all due respect, I know Arsene Wenger came from there years ago, right? But they're not the most competitive leagues in the world. And with all due respect to anyone Scottish, nor is the Scottish Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you're taking a big risk with him, in my opinion, right? If you went after that guy. People are telling me he's a serial winner. I don't know what he's won, but... so for me, the most realistic manager is the one at Brentford, because I think that is the manager that we have a chance of getting. That's why. Not because he's my first choice, but he's my first choice of realistic people that we could possibly attract.
Freshfielder's trying to demasculate my football knowledge here, right? He's gone. A fella from Ipswich has done a fantastic job with Ipswich. McKenna. Go on, you watch lower league football.
I don't know his first
name.
League. He's done well.
He's done well, was he? What about the Celtic bloke, John Postecoglou? It's a good name.
Well, that's what I was talking about. But I mean, where's he managed? Japan, Australia, and Celtic, and Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, I know. Look, it's always a risk when you appoint a manager, but you want someone who's got a good work ethic, who's done well somewhere, but who we are possibly going to be able to get. I mean, you've gone on about Potter for so long, Nick. Do you really think Potter would have chosen us?
Well, no. It clearly looks like Potter was holding out for that top four job, wasn't he? I think that's what he was doing.
I mean, and do you think if he would have come to West Ham, he would have looked as handsome as he does now already at Chelsea?
He would have done what? Sorry.
Have you not seen how he looks?
What do you mean?
Well, it's called a glow up. It's called a glow up. He's gone to Chelsea. He's had a shave. He's had a haircut. He's got a black turtleneck jumper on. He looks like the Milk Train man. He's like turning into a sex symbol. Have you not seen him? Have he changed?
Well, he's living in Chelsea now, isn't he?
Well, mate. But anyway, look, he was never going to come because he was never going to come. Let's be honest about it.
Yeah.
But so my problem is it's not so much that I'm in love with Moyes and things like that, like you think. But I just worry that who we can actually get and who we would get. That's my concern.
Cape Figor, however you pronounce it, has just scared the life out of me. Because this one I really don't want. He said Rafa Benitez. Oh my God, no.
Yeah.
Not now. The one who went. It's Pellegrini Mark II. He went to China, didn't he?
He's all over now, isn't he? Went for Newcastle, China.
Went for the payday, didn't he? Yeah, I don't think so.
The thing is, though, Nick, what I would say is the people that you think are like absolutely in love with Moyes, maybe like me, maybe like Grant. Yeah. We know the football ain't pretty. We're not unrealistic to think it's brilliant football. We know it can be better. But I think the concern for people like us is that who are we going to actually get? That would be my biggest fear if I think about it logically.
Yeah.
And that's he won the Australian. Did I just see Eastwood say we won the Australian Z League?
Yes, he did. Yeah. So there you go. Moyes can't even win a raffle.
Well, he won the League 2 with Preston.
But I was saying this. Look. I know it's a pedantic comparison, but look, people seem to. It's like be careful what you wish for. Don't for the fact that you're even willing to have the conversation. I think everyone is acknowledging that there is a bit of a problem here, or potentially a problem anyway. And this is what I was trying to say earlier on. And I think this is where it gets we get bogged down and we have arguments because we're all pigeonholing each other. You've got people but you've got people that are in bandwagons, or it's a brigade, and then basically Nick, what?
Nick, I put that comment up. That was the biggest fish I've caught tonight, mate. That was purely there to get your back up. It's so easy, easy.
Yeah. And anyway, look, Kent Hammers, as he said, is Kieran McKenna. He was the ex-Man United coach.
I don't know him.
Wow, it's getting quick.
There you go. See.
I don't know him. But anyway, listen, I'm going to have to go, Nick, because I've got things on here.
Thank God for that.
thanks for having me on as a guest. I really appreciate it.
That's all right, mate. Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And,
send us a text next time. And if I can get you on, I'll get you on. All right, mate?
Grant's doing a great job. Well done, Grant.
He is doing a great job.
Before you go, mate, have you kept the meter running when you pulled over in the lay-bys? Is the customer happy to have to listen to all this?
I don't like to discuss my work with my customers. It's a confidential situation. Yes, it's none of your business, basically. All right.
Yeah. For anyone that don't know, this is John from Fake Taxi. He's currently parked up in a bit of marshland, ready to crack on.
See you later. Take care.
See you later. Bye.
Yeah, mate.
Right. Okay. Right. That was good. Right. Let's just go through the rest of these. Where am I? So. Yeah, Kieran McKenna was the ex-Man United coach. I've got to be honest, mate. I don't watch much Championship football. I know that's bad. I probably should do.
Well, they're in League One, so.
Championship and below, exactly. Championship and below. Yeah. I don't really follow it at all.
We're gonna punt Moyes for a League One manager.
I mean, I always did. Do you know when I'm buzzing and when I don't know when West Ham are playing well and I'm loving football. I'm only loving football when I'm loving West Ham. If West Ham are doing brilliant, I'll watch everything. I will. I'll watch everything. But as it stands at the moment, I can only just about tolerate West Ham, to be honest. I can. It is with the style of football, it is tolerating it, Grant. It's killing me and it isn't because I want us to win things. I don't want us to go and get another manager because I want us to win trophies or anything like that. I don't expect that to happen. I just want a little bit of balance. A little bit of balance with the way that we're playing. Give us something, I mean, it took him so fucking long to make changes at the start of the season. And you know there was pressure on him to make those changes after the Everton game, where obviously Schumacher and Paqueta came in afterwards. He still, and Soufal came out. He's so stubborn. And what annoys me most about him, because I said, and I do believe it, he ain't a bad manager. No one does what he's done in the last 2 years. If they're a bad manager, they don't. He's so fucking stubborn, and he don't help himself. He doesn't help himself. Some of the things that he does is just it's mind-boggling because he physically can't be a bad manager. But whatever's happening at the moment, it's just not working. But I do believe, like I said earlier on, I just think that certain managers are good at certain types of jobs. I do think that West Ham, we are, mate. I know you don't think that we can attract these types of managers and you think we're still little old West Ham. Little old West Ham don't go and spend 180 million in a transfer window.
No, it's not that. I don't believe we can attract.
We've got different owners. We've got different owners now. Little old West Ham don't go and spend 180 million. I don't think we are little old West Ham anymore. I think people, and I don't think. I don't think the owners.
It's not Champions League either, though.
Not yet. But what I mean is, I don't think the
Champions
owner.
League. Those guys, but Tuchel and Potts are Champions League managers. That's what
you've got to remember. Kretinsky.
They've been linked with like Juventus and Bayern Munich.
Yeah,
and the top jobs that are going to pop open.
I know. But you got to remember
what they're holding for.
But you got to remember when Kretinsky came in, right, and he bought the club. I think the day he bought the club, it was at the last great game that we played, and that was against Liverpool at home. Do you remember? That was back in December.
I do.
Yeah, you remember that? So that was literally since then. He's gone to shit at home in the league. So Kretinsky brought into us when we were literally at our peak. So, and that was when he spent all that money. I don't think that Kretinsky is going to be happy watching us go from what we were then to what we are now, because the style of football is fucking turgid. It's almost gone back to the style of football that it was in David Moyes' first time here, which is weird. It's very odd, and I don't know whether that's because David Moyes feels more pressure, because there's been more spend. I don't know what it is, but he has gone so much more cautious now than what he was last year. Or over the last 18 months, he's gone so much more cautious, and it doesn't make sense. And I don't know whether, and like I say, I don't know whether it is the pressure that's got to him. I haven't got a clue. But it's like there's been, I don't know, and that's what I mean. You just get confused by it all. It doesn't make any sense. Certain games, Aston Villa was the one. Aston Villa were shit going into that game. They were terrible. Bad results going all the way up to it. We set up a roadblock in the first half. We started against them like we did against Liverpool. We only won that game in the end, so a lucky deflected goal from Fornals. It was absolutely. But do you remember that game where Skamaka was up front on his own, 60 minutes, was scratching his arse,
hooked him and put Antonio on. Yeah.
It just made no sense how he attacks these games, and that's what kind of does my head in. If look, we're all West Ham fans. If David Moyes, from the Bournemouth game onwards, starts playing brilliant football, putting the right players in, we start looking good, everyone will change their minds. Of course they will. You know, the football fan is fickle. They are. You know, but with me, I'm not fickle. It's not about results, Grant. It's not. You know, if against Bournemouth, if we go there and we play shit and we grind out the first 45 minutes and we nick a goal late on from a set piece, I'm not going to be happy with that. I'm not. You can't play. We can't play. With the money that we've spent, we cannot be approaching games like that at home against teams like Bournemouth. Would you agree with that, or would you not?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think, again, I completely agree with you. I think, I don't know. There's almost like there's another side to it that it's just an easy flip, make a couple of changes, and then we'll play brilliant, dynamic, cutting-edge football. And I'm not sure that that's the case. I think there are some issues. I do think I would drop Souček. I don't understand. I was a big Souček fan. I thought you went early on him, but I'm with you. I think he plays because of his height and because generally the rest of the squad's quite short. So he keeps him in for his height and his aerial ability in both boxes. But, Paqueta reckons he's going to be back fit.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that he will be, but, we get Paqueta firing, we get Skamaka firing, get Cornet back.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even sure if I would start Benrahma over Cornet fully fit, but it's nice to have the option. You can flip the two round and you can maybe play them both together and rest Bowen. It's nice to have options. We haven't had options before, so I'm glad we've got all that. Like to see our centre backs get fit, and then we have a bit more option at the back from there, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's it. I know, mate. I know. It is. It's a strange time. I think. I don't think we need to agree. My personal belief is there is so much money in. There is so much riding on West Ham being in the Premier League now. Okay, we've got.
See, I don't think we're in any danger whatsoever of going down.
Yeah, but we've had better teams. We've had a better team than this get relegated, Grant.
Yeah,
we have. You can never say a team is too good to go down. Leicester are too good to go down, player for player. They're too good to. Yeah, they are. They're too good to go down. Crystal Palace are too good to go down. Wolves are probably too good to go down. There are so many teams in there. The only team that you might look at and think, yeah, they could go. What, Forest? Who else? Give me your bottom three. Who are definitely going to go rather than us.
See, I don't think I would be able to nail on a bottom three now.
This is what I mean.
But Forest are worse than us. Southampton are worse than us. Leeds are worse than us. Wolves are worse than us. Bournemouth are worse than us. Leicester, the way they're playing, the amount of talent they've lost, and the fact that Vardy seems like he's spent. Now, don't get me wrong, Vardy might suddenly hit some form and bag a load of goals, but he looks done. Tielemans is a brilliant player, but doesn't even want to go in the summer. Couldn't get a move, so he's just not even playing now. So they're not what they were. Their goalkeeper's shocking. But again, I completely agree. If you play badly, you go down. It doesn't matter. You can look and say, oh, yeah, well, they were all bad. I think Everton are worse than us, but we went up to Everton and we were absolutely awful, and they nicked a 1-0 off us. So
how about this one? This one from Gatesy, look. And do you know what? I'm all for that. I wanted Rodgers before Moyes came in. I love the way that the Rodgers plays football. Yeah, fair enough. We might not win anything with Brendan Rodgers, but we would definitely play more football. And I think with the talent that we've got in that team, we would play sexy football. We would.
He's a strange one, because the only reason Liverpool sacked him was because they were so scared that Arsenal were going to punt Wenger and get Klopp that they dropped in to get Klopp in before they beat Arsenal to the punch. So, and he did a great job at Celtic, and which I think everyone pretty much has
I just
agreed.
didn't realise how small he is. I didn't realise how small he was. I saw him on a panel on BT Sport. He was like a little Oompa Loompa, wasn't he?
Yeah,
standing on there.
I think. Yeah, I don't know. He's a little bit divisive as well. To get
do you think he's divisive? Why would he be divisive?
Because he criticises the players. It's never his fault. He just has I don't know. He has a funny vibe to me.
What you reckon?
Yeah. But
Paolo Di Canio.
Again,
maybe for a month at the end of the season. Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd handle the press scrutiny well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. I do love him. I love Paolo, but probably not. What's this? Kent Hammers. We won't spend 180 million next season. I don't think this season's money was stockpiled.
Yeah, we spent nothing in January. We didn't spend a lot last summer.
It's a lot of money. We've never spent close to this. We've never. Well, look, it ain't 180 million since Moyes has come in like I say, in 2.5 years worth of windows, 300 million. That's how much Moyes has spent.
Yeah,
that's as much as Arteta at Arsenal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of money.
It is. Years of underinvestment doesn't help, but
no. Right, okay.
But there's no money in January, and there's probably no money in the summer because we're going to struggle to stay under the financial unless we sell Deck in the summer.
No, we should be all right. I think.
Otherwise, we're going to.
It's only one window we've done it, isn't it? It's only one window we've done it. We should be fine.
Yeah, we're already on the UEFA's warning, aren't we?
What's that warning? Don't do that again. And Sullivan's like, don't worry, we won't. But no, look, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. It's running way longer than what I thought it was. I had an hour. I said an hour to you, didn't I, Grant?
You did, mate.
Yeah, there's loads of you in the chat. If you did enjoy it, please drop a like on it for us. Obviously, as long as you did enjoy it. But yeah, let me know what you thought of this show. It's a bit chaotic. Like I say, the idea is we come into it with no talking points and we make it up as we go along. You phone in, give us some ideas in the chat, and we take it from there. But yeah, all good. Well done to the two naughty boys in the chat as well. We've sorted out their differences now, finally. So that's good. Because look, it does get heated. I mean, you saw Tommy's quite a reasonable guy. People do. You just get infuriated by it. And the same as probably you do, Grant, the other way. When you hear things that you don't agree with, you're probably like, what are you fucking talking about? To a degree, in your head, even if you don't say it. I think it doesn't matter what side of the coin you're on, we're all getting the arsehole with each other. You know? We're a divided fan base. And I blame David Moyes. It's David Moyes' fault. It's all his fault.
GSP must be loving that.
No. Good show, Mike.
They'll stick with him. As they see how divisive he is, they'll be like, oh yeah, let's keep him there. Keeps the heat off us.
Okay. Right, that's good. Brilliant. Okay, what's this? Check out McKenna, Nick. You'll be impressed. There you go. Cheers to you, Grant and guests. Nice one. Yeah. Thanks to everyone that phoned in as well. All brilliant callers, as always. So, yeah, it does sort of make the show. That it's good when you get those sort of random callers come in. You don't know what they're going to talk about, do you? It's good. It does add to it. Well, thank you very much, everyone. Grant, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, mate.
Yeah, very good. Enjoyed that. Time has flown. See you tomorrow night for the Booze Up. Come on, you irons.
Go on, you irons.